Cigars in Cinema.
Will you bring in the cigars, please?
The movie review podcast that tackles the smoky side of cinema.
Cigar, mate!
I don't mind if I do.
Each week we review a movie that contains in some way, shape, or form someone smoking a cigar.
Cigars.
Fire is good.
We'll talk about who smoked it, where they smoked it, how they smoked it, and we'll probably make fun of them if they have no idea what they're doing.
What are you doing? You never light a cigar that way.
So sit back, light up, and enjoy the podcast that has it all. Cigars.
Cigar. Smoke it.
Smoke it.
Movies.
Say hello to my little friend!
And general mayhem.
My doggy!
Hey, everybody, it's Brandon Luna. And special guest today, Philip Fullman from This May Hurt.
Did I just walk all over the queue?
No.
Did I? Okay, I wasn't sure.
What?
I don't know. I was just like, there was like that pause and was like, wait a minute.
There was a pause there because I was taking my headphones out and that thing messed me up. So,
oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, you hear the delay. It's like it's weird. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not a fan of that.
That's why they tell you to turn down your radio. Hey,
Yeah,
thanks
exactly.
for having me back.
This May Hurt and Cigars and Cinema joining forces once again.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like to say a special thank you to Brandon for keeping us safe as we weathered the tornadoes last night. And, you know, all kidding aside, did you see the footage of that?
I did.
That was no joke.
No, it wasn't.
That was...
We were kind of, on the little light on the subject there. Like, we weren't really too concerned about it. But, man.
That Garland got hit really hard.
And, I think the count keeps climbing. It's like 8, now it's 11, I think.
I think so. And some were... some from a highway accident. There were cars that were thrown off of one highway down onto another highway.
Yeah.
So a lot of people.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Took it pretty bad.
So prayers go out to those families that were affected by that.
Absolutely. But anyway, that was kind of an interesting evening. And then once it all died down, we finally. Do you want to intro it, or should I just go ahead and shoot it right? Should I just shoot right through it there? We watched the new James Bond movie, Spectre.
That's right.
Which I had not seen, and I gotta say I was pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yep.
I liked it.
All right. Well, here's Spectre.
This organization. Do you know what it's called?
Its name is Spectre.
Look around you, James. Everything you believed in, a ruin. Why did you come? I came here to kill you. And I thought you came here to die. Well, it's all a matter of perspective.
So, this is the number...
This is the fourth one that Craig's done.
Yeah, but what's the total number of this?
I couldn't tell
29, 24?
I have so lost track. I know it's the longest running...
franchise?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So
Harry Potter probably second. No, I don't know
no,
if that's true or not.
No.
But
Star Wars is at 4.
Yeah. You're still considering it 4?
Yeah, that's Indiana Jones is at 3.
Okay.
But Bond's had a lot better run.
Yeah, definitely.
If you take out maybe some of the Roger Moore era and
a couple here and there from Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, I go back and forth on Dalton. I think again, good actor, could have done a good Bond, but just didn't have the scripts for it. But things I had read, he was much more in Fleming's his idea of what Bond would be, fallible, and that's really what they've done with Daniel Craig. But I think they've done a much more effective job. You've had better scripts.
Yeah, for sure.
They take it more seriously. So
yeah, very much so. Agree.
I thought this one worked.
Yeah,
it went without its issues, but
Okay, so let's talk real quick to the cigars in this particular cinema. We're kind of cheating on this one because
but it was a giant cigar, so I think that
very
should
giant
count.
cigar. So
Yeah.
opening scene, it's Day of the Dead in Mexico, and there's a big giant skeleton floating around with a cigar in its mouth.
Yeah,
that's
like
the
a
extent
parade
of it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
that
extent
was-
of it. It's a parade thing. Yeah,
So.
Okay, but let's be serious though. 90% of the Bond films have cigars in them. Now, I really haven't seen any in the Craig stuff. I really haven't noticed any. They're probably there.
That's because we're in the new millennium. We want
Yeah.
to be healthier. We don't.
Well, the bad guys should still be smoking, though. Come on.
Well,
that's the bad
true,
guys
'cause
thing.
That's what they do.
That's what they do, man.
I mean, you want your kid to emulate a womanizing alcoholic, but God forbid
not-
he should smoke.
Exactly. God forbid he's smoking.
Craig, I think, in an interview, actually even said, Bond is not a role model. This is not a good guy. Don't ever think that he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's an assassin for
Yeah.
hire. I mean, basically, that's what he does.
And they brought that out, I think, very much in this one, kind of that darker side. I read some reviews of it after we watched it, and a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it was not so much because while you and I were talking, obviously we had some issues with it, but they took huge issues with some of the way he was portrayed. He's not that they took the humor out of the movie, and that it's just he's too serious, he's too glum, and
Now, do you think that was that just for this one or for all of his stuff overall?
especially this one, but more so starting with Quantum of Solace. Everybody's pretty much agreed that Casino Royale was great.
Yeah.
But that, now Bond's humorless. He's dark and brooding. It's like, well, that's how the character was meant to be.
Yeah. It wasn't quippy one-liners and crazy gadgets.
Right.
If you
And
go
I
back
think
to the books.
if you look at, what were the first two Bond films? Dr. No and From Russia with Love?
Yeah.
Little more along those lines. A little bit darker. And then you just had the full-blown zaniness of Roger Moore.
Yeah. I want to say it was Dr. No and Goldfinger.
No, Goldfinger was late. I want to say that was number 3.
Okay.
But
Looking this up.
Connery had the acting chops to pull that off. They did a little more nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But you really didn't have that in this one. And I still found it. Maybe it's just me. Did you find humor in the movie?
I did. I did. There were some. He had some lines in there that were pretty
I
funny.
think it's the type of humor that maybe people, it's flying over their head and they don't get, hey, that was a funny line. Because he doesn't say it with, a gleam in his eye or anything like that.
It's not as wink, wink, nudge, nudge as like Roger Moore did, or even
Right.
Pierce Brosnan got to that point. I thought GoldenEye was pretty serious for a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
And it just kind of from there went to real
Where
cheesy,
he's like surfing
through
a
driving
typhoon or
invisible
whatever.
cars and just
Right.
awful. So
And so because of that, I like this one a lot better. I like Craig's portrayal a lot better. I have no issue with the seriousness of it because it still brings out some of the cool stuff I like about the franchise, I like about the character, but a little bit more grounded in reality. There's still stretches, obviously.
Well, yeah, of
it's
course,
a
yeah.
Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
But it's not this unbelievable camp, which I think is what Roger Moore turned it into.
yeah, for sure.
And maybe that's what people like. I could see it as people watching the 1960s Adam West Batman, then seeing the Tim Burton version or
exactly.
the Nolan version, and going, hey, that's not Batman. It's like actually closer to Batman than Adam West.
And actually, our friend that's not in this episode, Randy Rankin's not here because he doesn't watch James Bond movies. That's one of the reasons. He stopped watching them in the 80s and just Roger Moore was his Bond and he kind of gave up on it. So, personal thing. Hey, that's fine. If you don't like Bond, not everybody likes him. Just like not everybody likes Star Wars. But
True.
He mentioned that as well, that, his Batman is the Adam West Batman. That's what
Really?
he grew up with, and that's his Batman. And he's not a fan of the newer incarnations of it. So
See, and I like it when it goes back to that comic book type of incarnation, more of the serious. I don't know. There's not a lot of stuff that I like that's camp.
yeah.
Trying to think of what I do like this camp. I may have to ponder that for a while. But it reminded me. I watched Men from U.N.C.L.E. Also got bad reviews.
Yeah.
But also, I think for the same reason. Well, there was a lot of talking. There wasn't a lot of action, and the action had music over it. It's like, no, there weren't a lot of quick cuts. There weren't, a lot of, I don't know, thrilling scenes. But it's like, no, but it told a story and involved more of the character. I thought last night's movie had a great story to it. I enjoyed the story of it. What'd you think? I know at one point you said it seemed a little slow.
Yeah, Spectre. Okay, so just like the Star Trek movies, you have like, every other Star Trek movie is a good movie. Mm-hmm. You can say that about the Bond movies. Like the first Bond movie, Casino Royale, with this guy Craig, was great, and then Quantum of Solace kind of bombed, and then Skyfall was good, and then this one kind of, I just think that the story could have been a little tighter.
Right.
It was 2 hours and 12 minutes long. It could have been, under 2 hours probably, maybe an hour 30 or an hour 45 minutes, something like that. I think there was some. You run into this with a lot of Bond stuff anyway. There's some extraneous characters that didn't necessarily push the story along, didn't really have a purpose, that didn't really need to be there. Monica Bellucci's scene was kind of useless in the grand scheme of things.
It didn't do anything for the story.
Yeah, other than she wanted to be a Bond girl and they put her in the movie. It just really didn't make sense after the fact. When you get through a whole thing, you're like, why was that even there?
You could have cut that whole part out, tightened up the film, and lost nothing.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it could have been, Judi Dench's character saying, go to the funeral was the reason for him to be there. She could have said, "There's Spectre, go to this thing," and then
sure,
could have jumped the skip. He
could have just gone to the funeral and then avoided the whole Bellucci thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed a little tacked on to me, and it got a little slow. I mean, the second time seeing it, I think it would definitely flowed better because I'd already kind of knew what to expect, and I started seeing things I missed the first time or whatever, but. I definitely enjoyed it. For me, it's going to be, Casino Royale out of his 4 is the best, hands down. I'd go Skyfall 2, I'd go Quantum of Solace 3, and this one 4. Only because I think I like Quantum of Solace. I mean, Quantum of Solace. Not a lot of people did, but the reason I liked it, it was Bond Out for Revenge. It was basically his version of the Timothy Dalton one, License to Kill.
Okay.
Because basically it starts right at the end of the first movie. It's still that same car chase. He gets over to the place.
Okay.
Yeah, takes the guy out of the trunk and then, shoots him and that's it. So then it goes from there. It's him trying to get revenge for her getting killed. Why did she get killed? Who are these people? And then he falls into this other story and it goes along that way. And he hooks up with a girl that's out for revenge as well.
that the complaint against it? Was the whole Bond revenge thing?
I guess.
Do people know what assassins do?
I know, right? So, but I mean, it had great boat chase, had great action sequences. It was a Bond movie. It didn't have gadgets. It was still kind of going along the line with the Casino Royale thing.
Well, and this one didn't really have gadgets.
Yeah, it had the car, but that was really about it. And the watch that exploded. But.
Yeah. Well, and the car I'm kind of okay with.
Yeah.
It's when you get the fountain pen laser and the eyeglasses that shoot a grappling hook and
yeah, I got you.
It's like, okay, you're
the
still,
cheesy stuff from the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, you're still staying within kind of that, okay, spies, they have these little gadgets, but without getting just totally crazy with it.
Yeah.
And it did come in handy, obviously.
So we are going to do some spoilers on this. This movie's been out quite a while, and so we're not going to skirt around it, but the basic plot is, MI6 has been destroyed. These new guys are coming in. They're kind of taking things over. They're going to have this organization that's going to monitor everything. They're going to monitor every single little piece of information that's coming in. They're kind of be Big Brother type of thing, and they're kind of absolving MI6 and kind of killing off the 00 program. In that whole situation, basically, Bond finds out that this is all run by some bad guys, so he's going to try and take them out. And he gets kind of put on that path by Judi Dench, who from beyond the grave said, these guys are the ones that did it. Go get them, basically. So,
and that for me was probably the first confusing part.
Yeah,
just the way they kind of left that scene because I wasn't quite sure what she was getting at.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, is this character already dead? She's saying, find him, kill him, don't miss the funeral.
Yeah.
And then he shows up at the funeral. And I'm like, well, wait, is that the guy he just killed? And then it took me a minute. Okay, that's the guy he killed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that was the guy he went to kill in Mexico.
So it wasn't quite clear to me at first.
Well, so that wasn't when we see him show Moneypenny the message, it wasn't the first time he'd seen the message. He saw the message, went and killed the guy, and was getting ready to go to the funeral. Yeah. And there is, in that scene, something that you have issue with.
Yeah, that was, you know what? Exploding watch, fine. Your car has ejector seats, fine. Let's see. You drink tons of alcohol, never get drunk, fine. You're a world-class spy and assassin, and you sit with your back to an open window. No, you don't. That was the first thing, and it wasn't even anything I had to ponder.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, I was like, that's an open window. And maybe it's because I'm the guy in the restaurant who's always sitting with my back to the wall.
Same thing. I think we used to be old gunslingers or something in our previous life.
It may be.
But I always want to be able to see everything. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want anybody behind me, and here he is just, who's going to try to kill me? It's like everybody's trying to kill you. So that seemed way out of character. I thought, you know what, you could have framed the shot differently, so that you didn't have Bond with his back to the window. Draw the curtains at least. But of course, they wanted to show the view from his apartment, his Spartan apartment.
Yeah.
But they could have filmed it a little differently so that he didn't have that to his back.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe put it to the side or something, but still, I just can't imagine Bond walks around with the drapes open.
Yeah. So one thing this movie did that I thought was pretty cool, and it actually kind of brought some finality to his character's run with the series, which I really kind of think this was supposed to be his last one, and I don't know if he signed up for another one or not, but they tied every single bad guy and every single situation of the previous movies into one film. And you have the ultimate bad guy, who's the guy that's kind of been pulling the puppet strings the whole time and kind of destroying James Bond's life, one girl at a time, basically.
The Christoph Waltz character.
Yes.
And then they threw another twist in there as well, which
yeah,
I don't know how I felt about. I was okay with it, but it was just like, that's a little precious.
Yeah.
But, and especially the reasoning behind it, the motivation.
Yeah.
But it's Christoph Waltz. So.
A little too emo for you?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think emo. Just I don't know. I always associate emo and goth.
Yeah.
So not emo,
well,
but
no,
it just.
they call like Kylo Ren emo. He's like over emotional. He's
no, he's emo. He's emo, goth emo.
Yeah.
No, he shops at Hot Topic.
Okay,
I stole that. It was a meme. There's actually a Twitter feed for
I saw
tweets
that emo,
from
emo Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that's where I stole it from.
That's pretty damn
so
funny,
I can't take credit. But no, I think of him as kind of that whiny emo. But the whole motivation for Waltz, it was just okay. Maybe just be bad for the sake of being bad, but. That you want to destroy this guy because maybe Dad spent more time with him than he spent with you, and because he's his not even a stepbrother, really. I mean, his adopted brother that his dad took in.
Yep.
We don't know if papers were signed.
Exactly.
We don't even know how he ended up with him. He could be a kidnapped child for all we know. But anyway, so Waltz is upset that maybe he had to share his room and his bathroom with this new kid, and Dad loved him more. So he sets out to destroy Bond's life.
Yep.
A little bit of a stretch, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. And if you're going to do evil, it doesn't have to encompass Bond. It's kind of weird that all these things that have happened have been just because he wants to fuck with James Bond.
Because you took my room.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. It's like, wow.
You woke up earlier and got the bathroom before I did every day for 16 years.
Maybe let that go. But he plays a great bad guy.
Yeah.
Waltz is one of those guys that I enjoy seeing him on the screen. So that worked out well. And I like the idea of all these villains were tied together, that one person was the puppet master setting out to destroy Bond. Even though the motivation might have been questionable, I like the premise.
I kind of think that it wasn't necessarily to destroy Bond. He was going to do evil anyway. He was an evil guy. He just happened to be like, oh, I've got all this evil stuff that I'm building up. I'm building up this empire. Guess what I can do now? I can screw with this guy. I've got the power now.
While I'm doing other evil stuff.
While I'm doing other evil stuff and building this empire of, Spectre, then I can now kind of put my little needles in this guy and kind of mess with him.
Well, because Bond ran straight up into these other characters, so I could see how that worked out.
Yeah.
They work kind of in the same circles.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, and I definitely, I think Craig's had a better run of Bond movies than probably the last couple of guys have. I mean,
anybody since Connery.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's got 4 watchable movies. A lot of people don't think so about Quantum of Solace, but I think once you see it, hopefully you'll agree with me, or you'll just be like, oh, it's a big piece of crap. I don't know. But to me, I can watch any of those and enjoy them versus, probably out of how many that Roger Moore did, I can watch 4 maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. There's For Your Eyes Only, which I think was watchable, and Man with the Golden Gun.
I liked Live and Let Die. For Your Eyes Only. Spy Who Loved Me.
All right.
And that's kind of it. Maybe Man with the Golden Gun.
Once because Man with the Golden Gun, he's walking around with like a fake plastic nipple to.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
And I really didn't. I mean, I love.
Which one was the one with the gator chase? The one with the swamp boat chase?
That's Live and Let Die. That was his first one, yeah. I liked that one. It was darker. It was cool. It was gritty. You know, he had some comedy stuff to it with the sheriff and everything. It was kind of the whole, you know.
And then afterwards, Smokey and the Bond.
Yeah.
You hit, what would they have? You had Moonraker, which was just Bond in space. Well, and that came out right after Star Wars.
Yeah, they were trying to compete with Star Wars or
Octopussy.
Yeah, it was awful.
And
all right, so let's look here at the
View
list
to a
here.
Q. Not View to a Q. View to a Kill.
Yeah, which worst use of the Bond. You know, they always try and fit the title in for the movie. You know,
right?
It's like, what a beautiful view to a kill. And it's just like, really? That was how you just? That was awful. Come on, guys.
That's how you got it done.
Yeah. So this is Diamonds Are Forever. He came back for So we got Live and Let Die was his first one, which I thought was solid. Man with the Golden Gun, solid. Spy Who Loved Me was solid. Moonraker, bad. Burn It With Fire.
Moonraker was his fourth?
Yep.
Wow.
For Your Eyes Only, came back with a good one. And then you got Octopussy, which was, Kill with Fire. View to a Kill, you can also kill with fire. And that was it.
That was his last one.
Then you got Living Daylights, which I absolutely hated.
Did you?
I did not like that movie.
I was okay with it.
It was the monogamous Bond. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
License to Kill, I thoroughly enjoyed. I liked that one a lot. Benicio del Toro's in that.
Yes.
Young Benicio del Toro, yeah. GoldenEye was greatness. That was like one of my favorite all-time Bond movies.
I like that one.
Love it. Love it, love it. Love the twist on that one.
Great opening sequence.
Yes, fantastic opening sequence. Tomorrow Never Dies was pretty fun as well, and I like Michelle Yeoh, so I was all excited about that. World Is Not Enough, Kill It With Fire.
I think that was the last. I never saw that one.
That was the one with Christmas Jones.
Yeah, didn't watch that one.
God. Die Another Day was the one with, what's her name? The Halle Berry and the invisible car.
Didn't watch that.
Then you got Casino Royale from there on.
Which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, Casino Royale and Skyfall, two of my favorite Bond movies. Beyond that, I would say I actually really like On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
I do,
a lot
too.
Of people don't.
They give Lazenby a hard time. I think he did a great job.
I think he did a fantastic job.
And a lot of people, if you look at, what did you say the next Bond movie was? Moore's first one?
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. I think it was in that one where he's actually placing roses on a gravestone.
Yep.
And if you miss On Her Majesty's Secret Service, you're like, wait a minute.
What happened?
Wait,
yeah, exactly.
When did Bond get married? Because a lot of people skip the movie, but he married Diane Rigg in that movie, and then she gets shot at the end.
Yep.
But key movie
very much
in the
so.
story of Bond. And again, Lazenby did a fine job. Telly Savalas is a bad guy, does a good job. You get to enjoy watching Diana Rigg in a movie.
Yep.
It was enjoyable. I don't know what people didn't like about it, other than it wasn't Sean Connery.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really what it was. And then Sean Connery came back for a bomb, the one he did.
Diamonds
awful.
Are Forever with Jill St. John.
Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. That was my least
I think the thing I didn't like, what year was Diamonds Are Forever?
Diamonds Are Forever was 1971.
Okay. So there's the problem, and I'm going to say this is a problem for all the Roger Moore Bond films.
Okay.
This is going to be a stretch. 1971, everything was polyester, and fashion sucked, and the ties were big. Bond's a snappy dresser.
Yeah.
And in Diamonds Are Forever, he looks like a clown. He's got like the Sansa belt slacks, the big white tie. It's like, no, he doesn't look suave. He looks like anybody out of a Sears catalog.
Yeah, he looks like a schmuck.
He does. Yeah. And then through all the Roger Moore films, you've just got these god-awful 70s outfits that are supposed to be high style, but it's just, no, these look horrible. And then you cap it off with View to a Kill, where he's wearing Sansa belt slacks and a members-only jacket.
Yeah,
and it's like, what? Come on, Bond in a members-only jacket.
I also wasn't real big on the whole disco and Bond thing. There was a lot of disco.
Oh, yes.
I got the Bond box set, the Blu-ray box set, a couple years back, and I watched all of them. And there's some really difficult ones to get through. I mean, it's hard to watch these movies, and it's just
where
between the disco and the bad, just
Roger Moore discoing or dancing.
It was just awful, and the bad stuntmen and everything, and I don't know. I mean, some of the stunts are still pretty fantastic, and they hold up because they're all done.
Well, they did a lot of they did a lot of practical effects.
Yeah,
back then.
And to be honest, Moonraker's pretty impressive with the fact that it was all practical effects and people flying all over the place and zero gravity.
It just had no story.
Yeah, the story was awful. And then
But
Jaws
other
became
than
a good guy. It's like, oh, come on.
Well, I think everybody kind of like
Guys.
Richard. But how many franchises have done that where they turn the bad guy into a good guy because everybody likes him, or because he's a fascinating character? Sadly, the only thing that comes to mind is Magneto. But
Star Wars. Darth
Yeah,
Vader.
but he didn't get his redemption till the last act,
Yeah, but still.
and that
he got
was
his
really redemption. You don't really see him as the good guy.
Yep.
But he gets redemption. Because everybody wants. You find that character so fascinating, you want to make him the good guy so you can root for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Take him away from being the anti-hero. But, so while we're talking Bond, Never Say Never Again. Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
It was a remake of Thunderball, basically.
Yep.
That's what I thought about it. And it didn't need to be made. I didn't.
No,
really...
and I don't remember what Roger Moore flick was up against that.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But I do remember liking the bad guy. I liked Klaus, what's his name? Marion Bauer, or whatever his name is. He was good as the bad guy. He chewed the scene pretty well. But it was just overly long and yeah, I don't know. Sean Connery is way too old to play that role at that point, I thought.
Agreed. I still think it was better than whatever Roger Moore film came out at that time.
It was like a weird place where he looked too old, but then you see him in like other stuff later, like Hunt for October, and he looks better than he did in Never Say Never Again. It's like,
you know why? It's the hair.
Yeah,
it's the toupee. It's the toupee they gave him. They gave him that typical Bond parted hair toupee, and that just makes a guy look old. When they gave him that spiked hair in Hunt for Red October,
he looked all hip and cool.
It makes him look a little younger.
Yeah,
but you can't have Bond walking around with spiked hair, I guess.
No, I guess not.
But he's still got that charm. He's still got that swagger to him. Any time you see Sean Connery on screen,
yeah,
he kind of takes it over.
He does, definitely, yeah.
More so, I think, than Roger Moore.
Yeah. I mean, Roger Moore was my Bond growing up. He's the one that I was,
probably mine too. I guess based on my age,
but...
yeah, those were the ones that were released in the theater, and then Timothy Dalton, who again I really wanted to like.
Have you ever seen the 1967 Casino Royale with Woody Allen and
David Niven?
David Niven, yeah.
I have not.
You haven't? Oh,
no.
It's
I remember at one point looking for it. Now there was another one. Oh, who is the actor? He was a TV actor. It was an old black and white.
It was a TV. It was a made-for-TV thing, though. Casino Royale?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he was
Jimmy Bond.
Jimmy Bond.
Yep.
And
Native American and everything.
Yeah, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like a redhead.
Oh, wow. Did you realize that Never Say Never Again was directed by Irvin Kershner?
Really?
The guy who directed Empire Strikes Back. Wow.
I did not know that.
Yep. Budgeted at $36 million, it made $160 at the box office. Adjusted rate of $380. So let's see, that was 83. 83 was Octopussy. So
okay.
Yeah, it was probably better than Octopussy. Octopussy was pretty weird.
They call the movie Climax.
Which one?
Casino Royale Climax is what they call it.
Oh yeah, when was it made?
1954.
Oh wow.
Barry Nelson. So get your phones out, continue listening, and look up Barry Nelson. Who else? Peter Lorre.
Hey.
Yes,
Peter Lorre.
This is fantastic, Mr. Jimmy Bond. Hey, Jimmy. Trying to get the IMDb on him. Okay, so Barry Nelson was in Shadow of the Thin Man, The Shining, Airport. Of course, to be fair, everybody was in Airport. Mm-hmm. A guy named Joe, Johnny Eager, something with Ann Sheridan, The Man with My Face.
Now, to be fair,
he did a lot of TV
this
stuff.
was black and white, so you couldn't tell he was a redhead. So
true. But it was just, I mean, look at that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He
looks like a football player or
he
something.
Does.
It just doesn't look like James
But everybody
Bond.
wanted to do, and I remember them saying Fleming was very disappointed in it. That he just, like, no, this is not my...
Jimmy Bond.
I would like to see the one with David Niven and Woody Allen, though. And what is his name? George Lazenby. Mm-hmm. He made another appearance as Bond. He made a second appearance as Bond. Mm-hmm. In The Return of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. on CBS. It was, again, reunion movie.
Yeah.
And Napoleon Solo's being chased, shot at, something. Mm-hmm. And somebody drives by in an Aston Martin, and out of the back of the Aston Martin comes like an oil slick or bombs or something like that. Mm-hmm. And Napoleon Solo, Robert Vaughn, waves to him. And then you just see the Bond character wave and say, anything for a fellow spy. And
that's cool.
it's George Lazenby in the car.
That's
and
cool.
like the license plate says 007. That was the last time that he got to be Bond. Lazenby regrets not keeping the role, but he got involved with drugs, the hippie movement, and all of that. And like, hey, man, you're selling out.
Yeah.
You need, you're going to make a career. You're going to make money. Money's evil. And so then he had no career.
Wow. Poor guy.
Yeah. Well,
Then he was on.
make as a
He
kid.
did a lot of TV, BJ and the Bear and stuff like that.
He did BJ and the Bear.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So there is a.
You and I may be the only people who didn't guest star on BJ.
Right. So there's a flick that he did called Stoner in '74. And
appropriate.
An Australian cop has been investigating the spread of a mysterious addictive drug that acts like an aphrodisiac and hallucinogen to anybody that takes it. Very entertaining movie. And, a lot of people don't know he was actually like a karate expert. He had a black belt and all this other stuff. So he gets to use a lot of karate in that. It's got a 5.8 in IMDb. It's actually pretty entertaining. And then he plays a bad guy.
Was it a spoof or?
No, it was a straight up like action movie just made
Okay.
over in China. He was making movies over there. So he's got another one too where he plays a bad guy, international assassin, where he plays George, because
Right.
they kind of use their own names over there, but he plays the bad guy in that, so it's very Bondish kind of bad guy that he plays, and he gets to do kung fu in that one as well. So check out his Hong Kong stuff. Yeah,
The only Bond who could actually
do the kung fu.
do the kung fu and all of that. It's weird. I don't know
Although
why.
Craig
but
pulls it off. I mean, Craig definitely does.
he
the
does
hand-to-hand.
well, and he's got the athleticism. You're like, okay, I can buy that. Roger Moore always looked awkward throwing a punch or doing those
Yeah.
goofy 1970s karate chops that they
Yeah.
put in all the movies.
Yeah, the Kirk chop is what I call it. I always remind me of Captain Kirk. Kind of
That's true. He's just an awkward guy in that he never looks like he really fits.
Yeah.
To me.
He's an ape awkward man. Yeah.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
And you've got then what you started. They started doing spoofs of Bond based on that, and then it was like Bond himself almost became a spoof because you had Our Man Flint or In Like Flint, and then you did the Matt Helms that Dean Martin did, which were just it's like, look, this is straight up camp, but then you find Bond's kind of becoming campy.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe if that's what people grew up with and they associate that, that's why they're not big fans of the Daniel Craig stuff. But even so, last night I found myself enjoying the film.
Yep. And I think, a lot of people say the Daniel Craig stuff was so serious and had that different tone because of the Bourne movies, because those were highly successful, and this was kind of spawned after that. So
But these work. I think, first of all, it's truer to the source material. Unlike Bourne, you don't have the super quick cuts. I mean, maybe you do, but to me, Bourne, you just couldn't tell what the fight scene was.
Yeah.
And I just don't buy Matt Damon as a spy.
Yeah, I buy Matt. That's the thing is I never thought between the two guys, because you always connect Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I had to.
I never thought Matt Damon would do action more successfully than Ben Affleck would. I always thought Ben Affleck was going to be the guy that could do the action movies. He sucks at action movies. Like every movie you see him in, and he does any kind of action, he looks really awkward.
That actually has me worried.
That has me very worried. And the only thing I think is a saving grace for Batman and Superman, Batman versus Superman, or whatever you want to call it, is that it's probably all going to be CGI. It's not even going to be him. So
that's true. That's
or it's
true.
going to be a dude. It's going to be a stunt guy in a suit, and it's not going to be him. So that might be
Well,
what
and the
saves
mask covers his face, but he didn't do any good in Daredevil.
No, the only scene that was good in Daredevil was the one in the bar, and that was the stuntman. That wasn't him. But
And it was cut and edited to such a point you couldn't even see what the fight was.
exactly, yeah.
So
but the
I'm
one between
hoping
him
for some-
and Jennifer Gardner is just god awful. I mean, it's so bad.
That's cinema history. That's watching a couple court.
Oh,
it's like
God.
watching their romance blossom. It was it was horrible.
It just looked like he didn't feel comfortable hitting a girl. Is what it looked like.
Yeah,
It was just bad.
I don't think Affleck has acting chops. Now, fair point. I have not seen The Town. Everybody tells me I need to. I haven't seen it yet. Argo was a good movie, but the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, okay, so Ben Affleck's now calling the president. I know I'm watching Ben Affleck.
Right, yeah.
I never lose that.
And I really hated when he took over the Jack Ryan movies. That was just bad.
Oh, see,
all
I
the way
didn't.
around.
I didn't.
And then Chris Pine took it over, and that was still bad. It just died on the vine.
These are not guys. I don't know. I say this coming from the point of view of a middle-aged guy, but they don't look like adults to me.
Yeah, exactly.
They still have this youthful look, and then I think about it, it's like, wait, Christopher Reeve was 25 when he did Superman. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look 25.
No,
he doesn't
looks like
sound
an adult.
25. Yeah, he looks and sounds like an adult. So it's like, wait a minute, when did these guys all of a sudden just start seeming younger and younger? That they're unable to mature, because I don't buy Affleck as an adult.
Yeah.
Even in Gone Girl, it's like, he's still a little kid.
Yeah, it's because we saw him as a youthful guy, and I think it's hard to see him as an adult. He has wrinkles now. I mean, you've seen him in the trailers for Batman v Superman, and he's got wrinkles. He's got the gray hair. So he does look more like an adult, but it's still, I don't know. I mean, I think
he's still the proprietor of the fashionable male.
Yes, he is. I think we lost our action heroes a long time ago, man. I think it's, look at Schwarzenegger and Stallone and these guys, and those were men. Those were men, and they kicked ass, and you believed it.
They didn't make great movies, but yes, they were believable.
They were believable in those roles because they did the action well, and it seemed natural from them. You see guys like Tobey Maguire, and you're like, I'm not going to buy him as an action hero. I don't buy it.
Even as Spider-Man?
I didn't like him as Spider-Man.
No, I was okay with him as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man's more of a, he's kind of that young, unsure of himself type of guy. So that I could buy.
I actually thought Andrew Garfield was better cast in the role, but I didn't like those movies.
I don't like Andrew Garfield at all. I don't know what it is about him. He just annoys me. I don't know if it's his voice or what, but he's in that same category as Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, wow.
But Eisenberg does some great roles.
Yeah, and see,
but he's annoying.
Eisenberg falls into that category of there's the Keanu Reeves category where I don't like him as an actor, but I like the movies that they're in,
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can say that Matrix, Point Break, there's Speed, there's several movies that I think are good movies. They're not great movies. I mean, they're popcorn movies, but they're fun, but I would never have cast, Keanu Reeves in any of those movies, but he does okay in them,
Sure.
But it's just not. And even then, John Wick was great. It was awesome. I loved that movie. But again, it's Keanu Reeves. So
think of this with the action heroes. You've also gone from the practical effects where you had guys like Stallone and Schwarzenegger. Now it's more CGI.
Yeah.
So you can get a different type of actor in there. But now all your action heroes and all your superheroes are British.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's British,
mm-hmm.
Christian Bale's British, Henry Cavill's British,
yep.
Hugh Jackman's from Australia.
Yeah.
The Helmsworth that plays Thor, isn't he Australian?
Yeah.
So you got him. Let's see, who else is Downey, but he's an American.
Robert Downey's one of the few.
Chris Evans
is another one of the few.
Trying to think of who else you got in there. You got
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. But the macho type of manly superhero roles have been taken over by guys who are Brits. And then you have
that started
Tom
in the
Hardy.
80s, though. Yeah, that started in the 80s.
You got Tom Hardy
with Mel Gibson.
Yeah. And arguably the best action film I've seen in a while. And I didn't walk out of the movie going, wow, this was fantastic. But it was enjoyable, I guess, for the novelty, was Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Because it was the practical effect. It was just, hey, this is a straight-up action sequence.
Exactly. I dug it for that more than anything else. I think it was a beautiful film. It was really well shot.
Mm-hmm.
The story was kind of meh, but it's a Mad Max movie, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I was happy there wasn't kids in it. I mean, there was one kid, like a ghost kid or whatever, but for the most part, you didn't have to deal with the whole Beyond Thunderdome thing with all the kids getting in the way, which I really hated that movie. That's one of those ones I like the first third, and then after that I'm done with it. I can turn it off. But so I mean, yeah, Fury Road, great movie, well done. I think Tom Hardy does really good at action. I liked him in I've liked him in pretty much everything I've seen him in.
Did you like him as Bane?
I did not like him as Bane, but okay. I don't blame him for that.
Right. No, I'm with you. He wasn't true to the character. It just there were issues.
That's one of the. Well,
it was an okay Batman movie.
I didn't like that. I mean, that was out of those movies. That was my.
It didn't end the way it should have. As a comic book nerd, that's not the way it should have gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't like Big Eyes as the.
As Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose name escapes me.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. Little Miss Disney girl.
She just. I don't know.
She never rings true to me. I don't ever buy her as an actress. I've never seen her in anything besides Princess Diaries.
Sure,
that I've bought her in. And that was the whole ugly duckling to pretty girl thing that kind of worked okay.
It was a Disney film.
It's a Disney film.
Let's be honest. In those type of Disney movies, you don't really have to act.
Yeah,
you just show up, read your lines, and nobody's going to critique you.
She works in those cutesy little, keep her in the romantic comedies and the light dramas, but anything dramatic or anything where she's trying to be a bad girl does not work for me.
See, and I'm the same with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, me too.
I don't buy her in a serious role.
Yeah, I agree. So back on subject to Spectre, because we've gone way off subject.
Wow, that was...
Yeah, we got a rant there. So overall, you thought you liked it. You liked the story. You liked
I did.
about it.
Again, other than a few minor plot points, I had no objection to it. I like that type of Bond.
So
I like the revenge aspect. I like revenge movies.
Yeah. So do you think Batista's character worked as a Bond villain, given that he really had no lines, he really had no story, other than he's a big thug trying to kill Bond? Did that bug you at all?
No, because, again, I don't need the backstory on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
What would it have added? Why do I need his motivation?
Yeah.
Why does he want to kill Bond? I don't know. He just wants to kill Bond. He's part of Spectre. That's his thing. He's a big guy. He's bad. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like that, and I was okay with it too, because I've kind of there's always those characters in Bond movies. There's the bad guy that's the kick-ass. You had Robert Shaw and From Russia with Love. They had a little backstory with him, but for the most part, it's just he's a machine. He's there to kill Bond. That's his job.
Yeah,
odd job. All these guys like that, and I thought it still worked, and I liked him in the role.
I don't see. We got Blofeld's backstory, but I can't think of anything that Batista's backstory would have added to this film. Like, he needs motivation to kill Bond. Where do you go with that? Where do you end with it?
Yeah.
As a writer, you're just going to get into a mess with that.
Yeah.
And I think he looked a little bit like Odd Job.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
But I think he worked as just the raw muscle sometimes. And I'm trying to think. It pretty much is a formula in a lot of the Bond flicks. You have two villains. You have the brains, who he's got to defeat, but then the brains always has the muscle that Bond's got to go up against.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to get into a fist fight with Christoph Waltz. He's got to outthink him. But at the same time, you want to see Bond get into a tussle.
Yeah.
And so then you bring along a character like Batista's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he worked.
I think it worked. For the reason that they hadn't really done it yet. If you look at the other Bond movies, the past, you had Odd Job, you had these guys that were the Jaws, all these guys that were they were sent there to kill Bond. That was their job.
The unstoppable force.
Yeah, you really didn't have that in Casino Royale. And you had, Lashif, who was the main bad guy, really wasn't the main bad guy, but, you didn't really have Lashif's sidekick that was there to kill Bond. He was trying to fight him the whole movie. You didn't have that guy in Quantum of Solace, and you didn't have it in Skyfall. Skyfall was, you had the main bad guy, and then a whole bunch of guys that just were basically wearing red shirts, So I thought it was kind of nice to see that in a Bond movie. I thought it was lacking in the other Craig movies.
And they're bringing, they've brought back a lot of those things in the franchise slowly, which is why it's interesting if this will be his last film or not.
Yeah.
I know people said that he made a comment that he wasn't doing anymore, that he sounded ungrateful or he doesn't like the Bond franchise. But as you read through the article, the one I read, it was basically, they asked him this after they wrapped filming. They'd been done for like a week. Do you want to do another Bond film? He's like, no, not right now.
He said, I'd rather chew broken glass or something than do another Bond movie right now.
I'm exhausted.
Exactly.
I know. That's like saying, somebody finishes a race. Hey, you want to go run another one? No. No, I never want to do that again. You're going to do it again, but at the moment. So maybe that's it. They just ask him at a bad moment. I think if he gets a new director, he might not come back.
Yeah.
Because I think he's done all the last two for sure with Sam Mendes. But
who's done very well with it.
They gave it, if this was his last one, they did give it a fitting conclusion. And again, as we were talking, eerily similar to On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yep, we were just waiting for that tacked on scene.
And I was waiting for it, and it didn't happen. So it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe Bond's done. Yeah. And if so, that's great. They did a fantastic series. Break with tradition. You don't do a threequel. You do 4 movies in the series. Now give it to somebody else. Have another director give it his vision, and do something new with it.
So what do you think they could? I mean, this was basically, let's be honest, this was a reboot. This was straight up a reboot because you started with Casino Royale. Let's pretend that stuff never happened. We didn't know who Blofeld was. This is all new, fancy, super duper thing. What can they do now that you think? What do you possibly think they could do to reinvigorate the franchise to start fresh? I mean, where do you see it going?
Well, I mean, I guess bringing in a new actor, somebody.
Who would you say?
Oh, man.
Because, there's Clive Owen's been mentioned before. I think Tom Hardy could do it. I don't
Probably,
know that he would
yeah.
want to.
I
but
could
think
I
he
could see
do it.
Hardy do it. What I don't want to see is some Neebish guy. I've always thought Pierce Brosnan was kind of just a little too wimpy for the role.
Yeah. I agree.
A little too dapper. He was more in the Roger Moore category.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody who's more got that swagger to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope they don't go back to the camp of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I like the tone that it's set, and of course, every director will do their own thing. So who knows? You may get the Schumacher version of
Oh God, no.
James,
Please, no.
James Bond after that.
Everything's
Hardy
neon.
could do it. Clive Owen would be good because I think he's a good actor, and I don't think he comes across as kind of he can kind of be a bad guy.
Yeah. I kind of like
kinda has a
Clive
dark
Owen because
side.
he was kind of a thing for a while, and then he kind of faded away,
Sure.
and now he's doing the TV stuff for Showtime or whatever. But I still think he's got the chops. I think he could pull it off. There was somebody else that they mentioned too, Idris Elba. We talked about that.
Again, I sound like a horrible person. It's just that's not Bond.
Yeah.
You know, as you look at he's written, he's a white guy. Nothing against Alba. He's a great actor, and I enjoy watching him. But it's just create a character for Alba.
Yeah.
You know, do something else. Don't
Black
try to
Dynamite.
just do that, or you know, they just put Pierce Brosnan in a Bond film that wasn't a Bond film,
Yeah, I
so
saw
he
that,
could be
yeah.
the tough
spy
guy
again,
spy. You know, Alba's got Luther. He's kind of done those roles before.
I think he could do it, but I think he's also a little too old for the role at this point. So
Because when you look at the contract you sign and you go 4 years, and what is Craig now, 47?
yeah.
So, you know, maybe he's got one more in him. But as much as I like Craig after seeing the movie last night, it was kind of a nice bow on the
It really
on
was,
the
yeah.
package.
I kinda
So it's
like the
let's
idea
maybe
of
maybe
that
we
being
don't
his last
unwrap
one.
that again. Maybe we just let this one go and hope for the best with the next one. I can't really think of anybody. Certainly somebody somewhat taller.
Yeah. So taller.
Well, well, when you look at some of the actors they mentioned,
Wilt
it's like,
Chamberlain is
is James Bond. When you look at just some of the actors that they toss out just because they're British, it's like he's kind of short.
I'm so glad the Hugh Grant thing never happened because that would
that would have been horrible. Although, check out. Now I can't think of it, and I just mentioned it earlier. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He has he has a great role in there, and when you see it, it took me a second to recognize that was Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Because now he looks like a grown up. It was like, oh wow, Hugh Grant's kind of filled out his face, and
What do you think about Henry Cavill? He is British.
he is.
Too much? Too Superman and James Bond? Can't be both? Kind of
Well,
thing?
I mean, he was just Superman and Napoleon solo, but
Yeah.
they're not making another Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie. Which again, I didn't mind the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Seeing him in that, do you think he could pull off Bond?
Yeah, easily. I think he could. He could probably do a little bit more of the nudge and wink without getting into the cheese ball part of it.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on what you're given to work with.
Yeah, I would love to see him be James Bond just for someone like, oh, who the hell do you think you are, Superman? Just they have to have that line in there at some point.
Just rip open the shirt.
Right. No.
Well, and he's, I guess he's tied up for one more Justice League movie, and then he's kind of done, I think. I don't know how many more movies he's on the hook for with DC, because they're saying there may not be another solo Superman
they killed the solo
movie.
Superman thing, I think. That's what I heard, which kind of depresses me. I'd like to see
It does. I wanted a straight-up sequel.
I did, too.
I really did. This is because everybody's got Batman fever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they definitely
I'm leery of this movie. But I'm hoping for the best. But yeah, I think he could pull off a Bond.
For me, I mean, I say go 180 degrees, like totally the opposite direction with it. Give it to Netflix. Let them do like 0070 and have it be like a 70-year-old James Bond that like has to come back and relies on the gadgets and wits instead of fighting.
Like
and
Mr.
stuff.
Holmes.
Yeah, like Mr. Holmes. Exactly. Go that route. That might be kind of cool.
Could be.
Just bring Sean Connery back for that.
You could.
Old Bond, yeah.
Sadly, he retired.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to think of who was it who made him retire. It was
the
League of Extraordinary
Gentlemen.
But whoever the director was, he was just like, yeah, I've got money.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
I've
this
got James
again.
Bond money. I don't need to do this shit.
Yeah, forget it. I'm out.
Have all the gadgets be like old related, like, exploding dentures and stuff like that. There could still, there won't be any fisticuffs, but there'll still be car chases. They just won't go past 30.
It'll be in their, their little rascals.
Mm-hmm.
They get around some stuff. They could
with oil slick buttons and stuff.
Yeah. I think one of the things, and I'm hoping that other directors and studios and everybody with their hands involved take note of what J.J. Abrams did with The Force Awakens, which was the use of practical effects.
Oh yeah.
And how much everybody, even without mentioning it, it's just it's a different look to the eye. It grounds the film. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's missing out of, from what I've seen in the trailers, Batman, Superman.
Yeah, everything that Zach's done.
Very CGI. And the best scenes in Man of Steel were on the farm, was when he was walking and he's hitchhiking or in the bar. It's like, okay, that's really happening. This is a thing.
Yeah.
And those were the scenes that were emotional and resonated the most. And if they could have done that the way Abrams shot and say, you know what, instead of we're going to blue screen this, let's put some rubble around it and let the character stand against that, it would have grounded the film a lot more. I think it would have looked better. So I'm hoping with some films going forward that you'll have more people see that and kind of gravitate back to it.
So, question for you, if you know, because I don't know if you know, you might have to look it up. How much did they spend on Force Awakens?
I was told, Joey actually said it was $200 million.
Okay.
And it just broke $900 million today.
So how come that only cost $200 million with all the practical effects, but yet the CGI stuff costs so much more? Like, how much is Batman Superman? It's like $300, $400 million at this point. So
that's a good question.
Why not just shoot practical? I mean, I thought the idea behind going away from practical was, CGI, we can do it faster and cheaper. And
see, and I don't think it was faster and cheaper. I think it was we can do more. We can make it look better.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't.
No. I mean, you look at the movies that have done successfully, like, Jurassic Park. The reason Jurassic Park worked is, yes, it had CGI and it was something we hadn't seen before, but there still is a lot of practical effects in that movie. The raptors jumping around in the kitchen and stuff, all those were puppets and stuff, and they look damn good. And they seem like they're actually there.
I don't know what the appeal is, unless it's just less work.
Yeah.
But then again, you would think, okay, shouldn't it be cheaper? Except the computer guys get paid a hell of a lot of money. Mm. So probably a guy who's working on a computer is probably making several $100s an hour, whereas a puppeteer, they're like, we can give him for $20 an hour.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it comes in cheaper. But I hope to see that in more films. I think it would work. I think it might get people back to the theaters a little bit more.
I think so too. So issues with Spectre. I had an issue with the love story. I didn't really believe it. I didn't think they had the best chemistry in the world.
They didn't.
For him to run off with her at the end, I was like, really?
And she's a blonde.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't buy it.
No. Well, and go ahead.
Him getting out of the main bad guy's lair at the end was way too easy. And, it was like a powder keg of just, I don't know what the hell was in there, but it was blew up way too easy.
That did seem, because we've got to get to the next scene.
Yeah. And practical effect was nice, though. I mean, the explosion was very cool.
Yeah. That was nice that they were able to do that. I'm trying to think. Do you have any more? What else? I know you hated the window scene as well.
Yeah, that bugged me too. And I said that to my wife when I saw it in the theater. I'm like, why is he sitting up? And she's like, oh, shut up. I'm like, no, but really, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't even do that when I go to a restaurant. I'm not James Bond.
I'll believe that he has a car with a machine gun. I'll believe his watch has a bomb in it. I will not believe it's like that he'll sit with back to a window.
And I like that half the shit in the car didn't work. I thought that was great.
That was
he stole
funny.
The prototype and half the stuff didn't work. And we mentioned that he hit the air button and he knew it was going to be an ejector seat. Like, what if it was just the air? I mean, because the atmosphere one turned on the radio. What the hell?
It's like, wait a minute.
Like, shit. He just jumps out of the car.
That was for the sake of plot. And that was my other big issue, was at the end when she says, I can't be with you. I have to go my own way. So he spent this whole movie protecting her, and then he just lets her walk down the street by herself.
Yep.
And then she conveniently gets kidnapped.
Plot device.
Yeah, it was like, this didn't fit.
A lazy plot device.
It was very lazy, because it served no purpose other than to give Bond a circumstance he had to deal with.
Yeah.
for the climax of the story.
That
that was it.
Oh, I really wasn't, and we've already gotten into the spoiler territory, so it's not a big deal. But I really wasn't real happy about how he dealt with Blofeld at the end either. I would have rather him gotten away, and just pop on all the video screens and like, oh, I'm still here, huh? You son of a bitch, or whatever. That
I wasn't either, but I would have gone a different way. I'd have shot him.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. You've gone through all of this. This man has killed all these people that you knew, that you loved, and now you're going to turn him over so they can go to prison?
Yeah.
And you don't think he'll get out, or he won't buy a guard, or if his organization is as vast as it's been made out to be in the movie, that he doesn't have people in the prison system working for him, you have to kill him.
Yeah.
Which is where it leads me to, okay, and you even made this comment, you can't kill off Blofeld, you got to have him for the next movie.
Yeah.
So,
but see, knows? I wouldn't have put him in that. I thought it was a little, I don't know.
That he was in that situation in the first place.
I mean, I get, okay, he's Blofeld, you got to give him the scar. Oh, now he's crippled. Okay, so now he's like totally made the transformation to Blofeld. But it was a little too pandering, I thought. They
could have just, had him escape.
Yep.
And then, which I think would have been better than to have Bond just not kill him.
Yeah.
If you're going to have Bond right there, you kill him, or
his last scene in the movie should have been when he was behind the glass and they were talking, and then he's gone.
And and that James saves the blonde.
And
then the movie wraps up. Mm-hmm. That would have been better. Besides, that was a hell of a shot to take down a helicopter.
Exactly. I had a problem with that as well.
That was a little bit of a
He is the best marksman in the world on a moving boat with a hand.
Right. From like 200 yards?
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
He would have been better off if they could have done, his bald helper guy, Rory, could have, shot it with a grenade launcher or something instead. They could have done something, or have M step up and do something.
And then, it crashes, and then you assume, oh, he must be dead.
Yeah.
And then, it says the end, and
it says
question
the
mark
end,
pops
and then
up.
there's the Spectre ring, and then you hear ding, and then he picks it up, and he's like, ha, ha, ha.
Sure. Yeah, just like the end of Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, exactly, yeah.
That would have worked better, but those are nitpicks. It was just, as I watched it, I didn't find myself going, "Why am I watching this?"
Yeah,
I didn't feel like it was insulting. It was like, this is enjoyable.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It's a good Bond movie. Yeah,
better than a popcorn movie.
Better than most of the stuff that we've seen in the '70s and.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And again, they took a serious tone with it, which again I appreciate. I like the revenge aspect. I like that. The good guy who has to do bad things to protect good people thing. You got into that in Batman with that dark tone.
Yeah.
It's just something I appreciate. People call him the anti-hero, and it's like, well, he kind of is the hero because he's not killing good people. He's only killing bad people, and when a good guy kills the bad people, then he's the good guy.
Yeah.
Which they did a scene on in Grosse Pointe Blank, and kind of riffed on it. But I really think that's true. If you're a good guy and you have to kill a bad guy, that doesn't make you the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why I got into watching 24.
What about Dexter? A bad guy that kills bad guys.
Now, okay, he killed a couple innocent people.
Yeah.
One was by accident.
Yeah.
But he is taking out the trash.
Yeah.
So, if he just sticks to bad people, I have no issue with it. When you kill an innocent person, that's my thing.
Yeah.
But when most of the people Dexter took out, it's like, well,
they deserve to die. Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that story aspect. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me, which again says a lot.
Yeah, you're rooting for the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of those
people want to dive into these podcasts, either mine with Joe or this one, and be like, wow, we could really analyze the stuff he says.
These guys are messed up.
What the hell? Have you got trivia for us?
I do have some trivia. Let's get into the trivia.
You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That's the fact, Jack. That's the fact, Jack.
No horseshit, Jack. No horseshit.
All right, so we got some IMDb trivia here. First Bond film not to feature the iconic trumpet playing of Derek Watkins since Dr. No. Mr. Watkins has featured on the soundtrack of every single Bond film until his passing shortly after the release of Skyfall.
Huh.
So that's kind of cool.
Well, not that he died.
Well, no, not that he died. That sucks, but it's cool that he was on every Bond. Well, that's the thing, is like he actually recorded for every Bond film where they just used, I guess he did, That's kind of cool. At age 50 during filming and title launch, at age 51 when Spectre was released, Italian actress Monica Bellucci became the oldest ever actress to play a leading Bond girl. Leading? I wouldn't say she's leading.
She wasn't.
Beating Honor Blackman, who was 38 at the time she starred in Goldfinger. Bellucci was born in 1964, the same year that Goldfinger was released. And there was
Honor
some
Blackman.
yeah, she was a hottie.
Yeah.
And there was some issue with that. People were like, "Oh, she's too old to be a Bond girl."
She would have made a great lead.
Yeah.
Replace the blonde with Bellucci.
Yeah.
That would have, and if you did James Belushi, yes, that would have been entertaining as well. But no, I think she would have been a better choice than the blonde.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they had more chemistry in that short scene they had together.
I agree. Reportedly, director Christopher Nolan was being seriously considered to direct this film until Sam Mendes decided to come back for another film. Associate producer Greg Wilson said that Christopher Nolan would be a dream choice for a future Bond director, but we always have an open mind when it comes to directors.
So here's a name we didn't talk about.
Okay.
Christian Bale as Bond. Wouldn't work.
I wouldn't, no.
I
couldn't.
I don't think so. I just thought I'd toss it out.
Yeah. English actor Gary Oldman was approached for the role of Franz Oberhauser, but he was unwilling to commit to the 6-month production worldwide. In the end, the part went to Christoph Waltz. I think that's a better choice. Personally, I think Christoph is a little more on the... I've seen Gary Oldman in too many good guy roles now. I can't see him as a bad guy again. I don't know why. You know, he's done the Harry Potter stuff, and he's done the Batman stuff, so I don't know. Daniel Craig said that it was getting harder and harder to get fit for his shirtless scenes as Bond is at the age of 47. I seem to be bare-chested throughout the film again. Yes, I've been working out for 6 months. I work myself to death to get fit. No secret method involved, just sheer hard graft. It's getting harder, and I will admit, but such is life. I'll keep going as long as I'm physically able. So, definitely the best in-shape Bond.
Sure.
All the Bonds ever.
The one who actually looks like he
could kick some ass. Yeah. He definitely is the, I mean, it's him and Sean Connery, the only two that I think could kick. Yeah, Lazenby kicks ass too, yeah. But between, you look at those two and you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
You would buy them as
Lazenby's got too soft a face, I think may have been part of what it was.
Yeah, but he was kind of buff.
Yeah, he was buff, yeah.
He looked like you know.
James Bond's new car in the film is an Aston Martin DB10. The CEO of Aston Martin tweeted that it is strictly created for James Bond and strictly limited to 10 cars only. It's the most exclusive car of the DB series ever. Wow. That's cool.
So it's exclusive to James Bond and 10 cars. So does that mean like 10 guys named James Bond can buy these cars?
I think there's probably 9 guys that have that car, and they spend a shit ton of money for it.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. Despite Skyfall being shot entirely in digital and rumors that Bond movies will be shot digitally from then on, this and Bond 25 will be shot on 35mm film.
Nice.
Cool. That's very cool. Since this film does not use an original Ian Fleming story title, there are still only 4 unused original titles remaining: The Property of a Lady, The Hildebrandt Rarity, Risico, and 007 in New York. 007 in New York, really? We're going to go there?
I don't think that would work.
Oh, Monica Bellucci auditioned for the role prior to being cast. Wow. She had to audition. Former James Bond actor Pierce Brosnan said that Bellucci had screen tested for one other leading Bond role in Tomorrow Never Dies. Part ended up going to American actress Terry Hatcher. Unfortunate.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
Brosnan,
Terry Hatcher beat out... Oh, wow.
Yeah, Monica Bellucci, yeah. And that was... She was in her prime then, man.
Yeah.
She was super hot then. So Brosnan said Bellucci was ravishing, beautiful, and gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous woman. She screen tested to be a Bond girl, and a while back, and the fools said no. Terry Hatcher stole the day instead.
Well, Terry Hatcher was the it girl at the time.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. I remember that whole Seinfeld thing. They're real and they're spectacular. And then I saw them in that movie, and I'm like, no, they're really not. They're kind of dangly. Yeah. Not that great there. In December 2014, 9 high-end Land Rover discoveries included 5 customized Range Rover Sports valued at $1 million, set for filming in the Australian Alps, were stolen from the parking lot. Ooh, that sucks. Spectre in the early Bond films stood for Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. James Bond creator Ian Fleming originally had the acronym meaning slightly more simply Special Executive for Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. Okay. Is that what we're going with? Is that what it is, I guess?
I guess so.
Yeah. I just think of it as the octopus thing. Reportedly, the movement went massively over budget on the track for being the most expensive picture in the James Bond franchise ever made, costing over $300 million. An estimate of 300 to 350. This is the most expensive James Bond movie ever made. Previous had been Quantum of Solace, estimated at 200 to 250. The budget for this film is more than double the budget of Casino Royale. Wow.
So, see, the budget doesn't necessarily dictate that it's going to be a great film. Mm-hmm. Casino Royale didn't have to spend as much.
True. Dave Bautista is the 4th actor with a professional wrestling background to play a James Bond villain, following in the footsteps of Harold Sakata, which was
Odd Job.
Peter Fennell, You Will Only Live Twice, Pat Roach, Never Say Never Again. So, cool. 3rd James Bond movie to show James Bond's home after Dr. No and Live and Let Die. around 42 years earlier. So, yeah, I mean, his home was very sparse. I mean, they showed it was just basically an apartment with nothing in it. The TV wasn't even hung up. It's just, wow. Daniel Craig's first acting role in 3 years. His last film was Skyfall. Wow, he wasn't doing much between them.
He did, well, that would be a spoiler.
What?
I think he's in some science fiction film that's out.
Oh, yeah. I think we can already spoil that, can't we?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't give away anything in the plot. There's a scene in the movie. We won't give away the scene because that does spoil some things.
Okay.
But there is a scene between the character Rey and a stormtrooper while she's being detained, and that stormtrooper is Daniel Craig.
Okay.
And you can't tell it's him because he does alter his voice a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you pay close attention, you can kind of make out that it's Craig.
Here's some directors that were considered for directing until Sam Mendes came back. Ang Lee, interesting choice.
That would have been.
Tom Hooper, don't know who that is. David Yates, Danny Boyle, that probably would have worked.
That could have
okay.
been, yeah.
Shane Black, better writer than a director, although he did direct
agree.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
He did,
which
but
was
then
good.
when you get, Iron
Christopher
Man
Nolan,
3.
yeah, Iron Man 3, yeah, and Nicholas Winding Refn, I guess. That's the guy that's doing the new Star Wars, isn't it?
Star Trek.
Guy did Looper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he was
Looper
also
and Brick,
considered,
which
yeah.
Brick was great. Have you seen Brick?
I love Brick. Yeah, I love
Brick is great. So
very good movie.
Gives me hope for the new Star Wars.
That's the movie that I saw and I realized, oh shit, Joseph Gordon-Levitt can act.
Yes.
Like, I like this guy. The movie shares a number of same shooting locations as earlier James Bond film Living Daylights, including Tangiers, Morocco, London, and Austria.
All right.
Sam Mendes, uncredited in the funeral scene in Italy early in the film. Mendes appears in the background as a priest leading the funeral ceremony.
Okay.
So you got the whole...
So you can keep
Alfred
his SAG
Hitchcock
card
thing.
too, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Spacey was rumored at one time to play the main villain. He had also been rumored for Skyfall, while Spacey was in fact considered to play a villain in Skyfall before production delays and schedule conflicts with his play, Richard III, interfered with his casting. He was indicated on record that he was never offered the role and would consider playing a Bond villain. So
Okay, I couldn't see him as Blofeld, but the character Javier Bardem played, I could see him doing that one.
Yeah, I can see that too. I liked Javier in that though, and he was kind of
I
weird,
couldn't get
but-
past the hair.
Yeah,
It was like, that's fake hair. It was just, yeah, all these distractions.
Daniel Craig's favorite Bond film is, take a guess.
Casino Royale?
Nope.
This one.
Nope. Not even one of his.
I guess that makes sense. You don't want to say. Dr. No.
From Russia with Love.
Okay.
Yep. That movie contains an action sequence including a brutal train fight, which we mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very cool.
They pay homage to in Spectre.
Yes, exactly. Before Christoph Waltz was cast as the villain, they also considered, I'm going to skip that because I can't say this guy's name, Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh!
Yeah.
Chitwell Ejiofor.
Fuck you. How can you say that?
Because I've heard it before. He was the bad guy in Serenity.
Okay, yeah.
That Mal had to fight, and he was also in a great... You're not going to think it's great because it's kind of like about MMA, but it's a David Mamet film called Red Belt.
Oh, I've heard of it, yeah.
And he was great in that.
Okay.
He was also in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, he's good in that. He's
Yeah.
really good in that, yeah. So he was also considered to play Blofeld, basically, before Christoph Waltz.
That would have been interesting.
Yep. Now, see, there you go again, though.
But you've got the stunt cast.
Yeah.
I get that actors can act, but at the same time, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm old-fashioned that way.
Okay. Spectre is the first Bond film since Die Another Day to feature the iconic gun barrel sequence at the start of the film. Really?
Yeah, it wasn't in there. I noticed that.
Yeah, when the gun barrel sequence was used as part of the title sequence of Casino Royale, the sequence was only shown at the end of Skyfall and Quantum of Solace. Interesting. So yeah, there's more stuff in here, but it's all pretty crappy. First Bond film to be shot with anamorphic lenses since Die Another Day, but it was also the first one to be shot on film since then,
Right.
probably too. So, yeah, cool stuff though, man. I dig Craig as Bond. I
I
really
do
like
too.
him.
I think it's worth a rental.
Yeah,
Check it out.
If
Just sit
you're a
back
Bond
and
fan,
you don't have to check your brain, but it's a Bond film.
yeah. And one thing I will say about his movies is Casino Royale, you don't have to be a Bond fan to watch. It's
Right.
a good movie on its own. Just on its own merit, it's a great flick. It's got action. It's got a good plot. It's got a great bad guy. It's just really well-made action movie. Since then, they've gotten more Bondish, And
Well, and they've built on Casino Royale, so you kind of have to know where you're going. You can't just come into it.
Yeah.
But I think most people who see a Bond film probably have seen a Bond film at some point.
Yeah.
Now, if they came in like a Quantum of Solace or Skyfall, they'd be like, who are these people? But
yeah, probably. So what do you think about, though, with J.J. Abrams doing Star Trek, what he did with Star Trek? Do you think he, like, just totally... I mean, because a lot of people don't like his Star Trek stuff. They're saying that it's too different from the original, idea of Star Trek.
I am okay with it because he didn't get rid of the other franchise. It's not like, okay, none of that ever happened. Mm-hmm. William Shatner was never Kirk. Nimoy was never Spock. There were never tribbles. Mm-hmm. He kept all of that. And going into the first movie, I'm like, I'm not seeing this. I don't want him throwing away, all of this. He's throwing away Next Generation and all of it, and it never took place, and it's a reboot. It's like, it's a reboot, but he found a very clever way of saying all of this other stuff happened as well.
Yeah.
Alternate timeline. And then to bridge that and show that, you have Nimoy as Spock.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it because it's a different timeline, and I still have my Kirk or my Nimoy Shatner Star Trek.
I actually liked the first Star Trek they did a lot. I wasn't real big on the second one. I thought it was too much fan service.
There was a lot of fan service. Cumberbatch was okay in it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great. It had its moments. This next one really doesn't.
No.
The trailer it looks like it's good. It's directed by the guy who did Fast and Furious. By the way, I think it said in the title, director of the original. Not these crappy ones we've done since the original crappy one, but the original crappy one. Just based on the trailer, it looks like a lot of quick cuts. It looks like it's going to be more action than story, and I'm really a big believer in you've got to have that balance. You can't just do the Michael Bay thing where it's like, no, we got the plot.
Yeah.
No, we got the plot. We don't need the story. Just give us the plot.
Yeah.
And that looks like where this may be going.
My only real thing, I think one of the reasons I didn't like the second Star Trek movie as well was that it is an alternate universe, and I don't like how they've kind of made Captain Kirk more of I wouldn't say he's a pussy, but it's like he doesn't have the confidence that Captain Kirk's supposed to have. It's like he's not. It's more like
young Kirk.
Yeah, but it's more like he's kind of. It's like him and Spock have changed roles. It's like Spock could be the captain now, and Kirk's more of the guy that just comes up with great ideas and sally forth.
Yeah. Again, I guess they're trying to get you to deal with young Kirk. He's not the Kirk we came to know. By the time we saw him on the bridge of the Enterprise.
But I would think by the second one he should be that. By the second one he should have been, all confidence and awesomeness. And now he's not.
I will say this, that Carl Urban has nailed his role.
Oh, yeah.
Say what you will. He is perfect as Leonard Bones.
Bones.
McCoy.
Yeah, and I like. I mean, I really like all the casting. I like Chris Pine. I like
Zachary Quinto.
Zachary Quinto.
Quinto does a great job,
and he's done with it. He's like, I'm kind of done playing that character, and that sucks.
I can kind of understand it. It's paycheck versus I want to go act.
Yeah, but what's he doing? What else is he doing? Come on, let's be honest. He had some episodes of American Horror Story, and that's kind of it. I haven't seen him in much else. I think he was in that. He did bad
Slap or
Hitman or something. He was in.
Well,
he
did
Hitman
some of the NBC movie called Slap or something, where it's about what happens when you're at a picnic or a party at somebody's house and your kid misbehaves and another adult slaps them, and then it becomes like this big drama. And I'm thinking, man, I grew up in the 70s. Any adult could slap me if I misbehaved.
Yeah.
It was, and then when I got home, I got slapped again because another adult had to slap me because I was misbehaving. So this is really a thing?
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's funny because there's actually a book called Free Range Parenting where it talks to parents about how to let loose, not be a helicopter parent. I'm thinking, you mean like a book on being a parent? Like my parents were? Like, go play in the backyard. Go climb a tree. Mm-hmm. Now you feel and broke your arm. We'll go get it fixed. As opposed to, now you've got to encourage parents to let that happen. It's like, where have I been? What did I miss? And that's how you end up with action heroes who suck.
Yep.
Because you've taken that sense of adventure away.
Yeah, and
from
that's
kids and as a society.
one thing they've
Got the
definitely
lighter
done.
over there?
One thing they've definitely done right with Craig. I mean, he definitely plays the action hero well. I think he's been a very good Bond. And if it is his last one, I'll be sad to see him go.
I will too. I think they put a nice bow on it.
Yeah.
So I won't be too upset. But yeah, I'd like to see him come back.
Yeah, I would too. So this may hurt. You guys had an episode out.
We did. We did our Star Trek episode. Joe and I were very
Star
psyched
Trek?
about Star Wars. Too many stars. We did our Star Wars: The Force Awakens episode.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to catch it, it's up now. Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and we do the first half without spoilers, and we give you plenty of notice when we're going to go into the spoilers. So if for some reason you haven't seen it, you can tune in and listen, and we kind of dive into our theories. And you and I have talked offline about some of our theories on it.
Yes, we have.
And I'd love to get you and Joe together so we could all just kind of geek out and discuss our theories. But I know you've seen it, once now?
I've seen it once, yeah.
I saw it twice. Great film.
I'll definitely see it again in the theater.
It was a great film, and again, you go through, you read the message boards. There's always some nerd out there like, I can't believe they did this. They have done, like, it's a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But an enjoyable film. I like where they're going with the franchise. To me, the thing, all the little niggling details aside, the thing I like the most is there's now 3 characters who I will watch on screen, and I didn't have to sit there going, man, when's Han going to show up?
Exactly.
Man, okay, whatever. Ray's here. I don't care. Where's Han? No, Ray's can stand alone as a character. Finn, Poe. My only objection to Poe, that guy needs more time.
Yep.
Because Oscar Isaac was fantastic as Poe. Tells a good story. Mm-hmm. It sets up well for the next one. They don't hide the fact that it's a cliffhanger. It's it's like Empire in that way. It's like, and we haven't told you everything. Mm-hmm. And I think some of the critique, and I don't know if you've read any of the reviews from nerds or anything, but it's, well, they didn't tell us this. Well, they didn't tell us that. And it's like, the storytelling process isn't, we're going to just tell you everything up front, and we've eliminated all drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Now there's a reason to come back and see the second one. Hopefully it's as good as this one was.
Yeah.
But very enjoyable. But yeah, Joe and I both liked it. He gave it an A. I gave it a B. Mm-hmm. So we discussed that. And as you and I have, and anybody else who's seen it who wants to talk to me about it, I'm just like, oh, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, the next day, I think you watched Creed after that. Mm-hmm. And you kind of had the same opinion I did. Better movie. Mm-hmm. Different. I guess it's kind of like Cigars. It's, well, how is this cigar better? They're both different. But Creed was a great movie.
Yeah, it was. And again, falls into that familiarity thing where it was very.
It does.
It's basically a remake of Rocky.
It is.
Think about it,
It is.
But it was done in a very fresh way, and
it was. And Stallone was fantastic.
He's really.
He didn't write.
Yeah.
He didn't direct. He could get an Oscar nod for Best Supporting Actor for this. He really. And people were like, "Well, it's the one character he knows how to play." It's like, yeah, but you can't just put anybody in that role and have him believable as Rocky Balboa. And now you've got a role that very much fits. Here's a guy in his 70s. Mm-hmm. I think he's the same age as Burgess Meredith was in the original Rocky.
Yep.
And does a fantastic job. And just so and he has this ability to break your heart without saying anything. Mm-hmm. And just to convey this emotion. And there's the music's obviously different. They have, more of an urban soundtrack to it. Stuff that I'm like, I don't know what song this is.
Yeah.
But they kept that one classic moment when you get to the final round and that Bill Conti theme kicks in and you just hear that ding.
Yep.
And then it's just like, and I remember sitting here and I threw my arms up. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, what has come over me? I was just so excited.
Yeah.
And then it's like, come on. And so I read a review from A.O. Scott. I think he writes for the New York Times. And he was talking about he was in a theater with other critics and journalists. So clearly not an audience there to just enjoy the film. And he said at that same moment, everybody in the audience applauded. All the critics just go nuts.
That's awesome.
It's like, it's just in us that when you hear this, you're just like, all right, here we go. Here's where it comes. Yep. And again, I don't want to give away the ending, but it
Yeah.
was fitting.
Yeah,
I thought it worked.
I thought so too.
And there'll probably be a sequel.
Yeah, I would imagine
But,
so. And, going back to that same thing, when you sit there and you see The Force Awakens and that crawl starts, I got teary, man. I was like, oh my God, another Star Wars movie in the theaters. I hope it doesn't suck.
And I think that was half of it.
That was
You're just
great.
like, wow, this was... It is the sorbet to cleanse your palate of the prequels.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the characters too, and I wanted to say something about that because we did get a lot of great new characters, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in the next movie. I cannot say that about anybody from the prequels, because if you notice that there's really no character that kind of carried through the prequels beyond the ones that because we've already got Ben Kenobi, we've got Anakin, we've got Yoda, Mace Windu. Didn't give him enough to do.
Isn't he dead?
Yeah,
that's the thing. I think Lucas, when you look at the cast that he had and how he wasted them, he wasted Ewan McGregor, he wasted Liam Neeson, he wasted Sam Jackson, Natalie Portman. She couldn't even get work after this.
Yeah,
because it was so bad, and she's a great actress.
She is,
but it was just the stink was so bad from it.
Yep.
Hayden Christensen can't really get work, but
the best this is the bad part. The best thing to come out of the prequels was the guys that did Samurai Jack did a cartoon series, and it was a web series, and they released it as an old thing called the Clone Wars, but it's not the one that was after that. It was basically between the second movie, between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Did you ever see that? It's awesome. That is the best thing to come out of that whole thing. It's like they put it together as one movie now, and it's very watchable.
Where can I find that?
I'll get you a copy.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's available. I mean, you can go buy it at Best Buy and stuff like that. But it's serialized, but there's a copy that
you got it at the house.
Yeah, I got it at the house. It's really cool. And it answers some questions that didn't make sense when Revenge of the Sith started up, and you get to see more from the characters that you wanted to see more from the characters from, and it's really well done.
And I didn't, because I saw each of the prequels once. They didn't resonate. They didn't stay with me. I just sit there rolling my eyes the whole time going, really? But there were, and when Joe and I talked about this, I didn't know this, there were some nods to the prequels in The Force Awakens. More so in like ships that had crashed or maybe a symbol here or there. But, as far as the characters know. But they had little things placed throughout to say, okay, this actually happened too. But I thought it was great that before the opening scroll that all the cast came out and apologized for the prequels. That was kind of like, no, that's what you're expecting. Much better.
Hilarious if they actually did that. All right, so check us out at Cigars and Cinema on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Podomatic, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podcast Land. We're also on YouTube, and give us a listen each week. We'll be doing something new, and I think we still got one Christmas movie in us, maybe Scrooged or Christmas Vacation. Not 100% sure, but that might be coming. If not, there'll be something else, and we've got a lot to talk about. So, as always, it's been great smoking with you. See you next time.